one of my coworkers who I worked with called me up and he's just like, hey, Tristan, are you looking for a way to make some extra money? And I'm like, well, that's a stupid question. Of course I'm looking for a way to make some extra money. Oh, this is like the greatest thing ever. You get paid to buy your own stuff and you get to scale it to as big as you want. There's these people making 7-figure incomes doing what we do, and I can create an ongoing residual income that I can give to my kids. Let's freaking go. And wife was adamantly opposed. When I said I started a business, she's like, all right, no, that's not legit. There's no way. And she told me that I shouldn't do that. It's stupid. It's a scam. And I was like, well, I didn't ask your permission to get into the financial mess I'm in. My dad said, it didn't work for us. It won't work for you either. You should get out while you still can. I didn't really care what people thought already. So that really helped. So I got my business started despite their disapproval.
Did it ever put your relationship in jeopardy?
At one point, she threw a ring at me. It's either me or the business. I'm like, you're not making me pick. I don't think it has a bad reputation. I think people are ignorant on what it is.
The people that are either going to face this kind of backlash and pushback, or they're experiencing it, what is the raw answer you would give them if they're experiencing that right now? Have you ever checked your phone and saw that you got a message from someone you haven't talked to in years, and they ask you a question? Things like, what are you doing for work nowadays? Are you looking for ways to make extra money outside of what you're doing? And most of you, if you've ever gone through that experience, have probably dealt with someone who is unprofessional, who is after something, and they introduce you to a thing. Right? Well, that thing is called network marketing. And I think there's a lot of stigma around network marketing. And these are a lot of questions I don't think a lot of people are smart enough or brave enough to answer or make a case for. And this episode of Dear Founder is really cool because I have someone who was successful in network marketing and used that to take a leap into other entrepreneurial endeavors, which honestly, I don't see a lot of nowadays. And this guy was willing to answer some tough questions and take some heat. So I think you're really going to enjoy this episode. If you stick around long enough, listen to the full thing. I think you're going to be surprised about what you hear from someone who got involved with network marketing really early on. So thanks for tuning in to this episode of Dear Founder. Honestly, I didn't know if this would ever really happen because you are in such high demand. You've got a huge team, you've got multiple businesses, so this really is an honor for you coming on, man. So I do appreciate it. And because I'm so honored, we got a gift for you that we give to every founder on the show. So this is our special Dear Founder bag of coffee, because every founder, I don't care who you are, you need something to keep you going for all the sleepless nights, all the struggle, all the stress. You need this in an IV drip. So everyone needs something like this. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. I can't throw it away. It's got your name on it. So hey, look, I'm gonna have to keep the wrapper and like stick it to my coffee maker.
Put it somewhere nice. Put it somewhere nice. Make sure everyone can see it.
Oh, you've been to my house where we have the coffee bar or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah,
nice.
Jenny's going to drink it. So, I mean, like, it's going to be an empty bag. But
Perfect. Yeah. I want y'all's feedback, too. I want to know what Jenny thinks about that, too, after she drinks it, because it's some really quality stuff. So,
I mean, if it's got Mario Cedillo on it, it's probably not cheap. So,
no, I'm just kidding. But so let's dive in. I have to say, I wouldn't be in this realm. I wouldn't be a founder. I wouldn't be an entrepreneur. I really wouldn't had you not been through everything you've been through. And we're going to talk about your story here, but like in all seriousness, I wouldn't be here. And people don't know that a whole lot, but they're going to find out. And I think whenever they hear your story, they're going to understand why it has such a ripple effect. So thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me. So jog my memory, and I think it'll probably bring up relevant conversation. And I'm going to try not to lead the conversation, but I'm just excited to be here. 6 kids now?
Oh, we might get there. Sure.
Is it 5 right now?
No, it's 5. It's 5.
Okay.
Yeah. Five children is.
I knew it was 5. I wanted the 6 to be in the ether.
I don't know. You're talking to the wrong person.
Sprinter van. Just saying.
I saw someone with a huge Mercedes that came out with a bunch of like grown kids. I'm like, that's how you do it. Mm-hmm. You got to get an awesome van.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're there yet.
But school buses are really cheap on auctions.
They are. I've looked into it. I've gone down that rabbit hole before.
I am never buying a car not at an auction again, though. Now that I've like looked at auctions, I'm like, well, what am I doing?
There's some really cool ones that drug busts. I mean, think about those guys' cars.
X7 BMW for like 30 grand, like
Yeah.
with 20,000 miles on it, because obviously they took it from someone who
Right.
is obviously not using it right now and probably will never use it again. Not my problem.
I have a team at home. I'm trying not to make it look like I have a team at home, but it's inevitable at this point. Like even our Traverse, it's like it's too small. Like now it's too small. So
Sliding doors, man.
I'm gonna have to. Oh, see, I didn't want to. I didn't want to go.
You've got all the other cool factors.
No dings.
I mean, you have Erick and the team. They're gonna make you look awesome with sliding doors.
You know, our the latest trailer of Dear Founder, we're gonna have to put that Kendrick Lamar sliding door minivan out on the front of it. Did no one get that reference? Was
Not
that
a
just
clue.
me or okay? Erick gets it, but
Hold on, it went like this. Can you?
well, no,
It defeats it.
yeah,
Okay.
y'all were in a
Alright.
different environment whenever Jesus found you. We were deep in the weeds of like rap music and drugs and all that stuff.
Okay, I DMX, Tupac, Dre.
That's
So
a little too far.
I'm old.
oh,
I think I'm a decade ahead of you. How old are you?
29.
29. Yeah, I was 12 when you were born.
Oof.
Yeah. I'd have a lot of gray hair if it was on my head. So
Well, as always, I'm joined by my co-host Lexi. That's funny. That's normally the first thing I say.
Yeah.
But this is going to be good. This is going to be good.
it'll be entertaining.
Yeah, no, this is a much different feel from our other conversations we've had. And I think it's because we haven't had a whole lot of folks that, and I'll just say it not to be insulting to anybody else we've had on the show, but I don't know if they're as outspoken, as bold, and I'm your friend when I say this.
Outspoken went first. You caught that, right?
Outspoken was the first thing. God gave you 97% outspoken. The rest
Some
is
bold.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm your friend when I say this. Someone as rash as you, and that's in the best way, because I think the things that have come into your life and come from your life have been because you have not been afraid to take risk or say certain things that will ruffle some feathers, or other people might be afraid of what people think, and that's exactly what I want to talk about. But you have an interesting story to where this is not common for most, and it'd be cool if it was more common, but you got your start in the entrepreneurial world, if I'm understanding this right, in network marketing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Were you familiar with network marketing? I mean, before today's conversation, or?
For sure. I actually did it for a little while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But network marketing, I mean, did you have any idea what that was did someone introduce it to you? Did you know what was going to come with it?
Technically, yes. Okay. So
let's hear it.
I was either in high school. Yeah, I was in high school, and I was working it was called the Comfort Zone, and it was a kiosk in Grapevine Mills Mall. Not there anymore, obviously. And we sold, the heating pads when you click the disc and it goes from clear liquid to it gets harder and
gels up.
It gels up.
Yeah,
Yes.
use it in sports.
So I sold those. Yeah, they're great. I sold those at a kiosk at the mall at a 100% commission job in high school. And I was working there, and my coworker Greg showed me the exact same network marketing business I ended up getting into 4 years later. And I saw it and I was like, that makes sense. I don't have any money. I need to sell some of these heating packs, but once I sell some more of these heating packs, let's get back together. And I felt terrible because when I did see it 4 years later, I saw him at the meeting. And now he didn't follow up with me. It's his fault.
Totally.
To be fair, because I didn't have his contact.
It's all about
info.
follow-up.
Yeah. But so technically I knew what it was. And so I think that bombed the beaches a bit for me when I first saw it. I didn't see it till I was 22 though. So I saw it when I was 18 in high school, and then I saw it again when I was 22. So 4 years later.
Okay. And I have a follow-up question about that.
Sure.
Okay. So when you got introduced to it, did you know what was going to follow people's view on it?
No, I mean, I've been very blessed with a callous towards what other people think. I think my parents bombed the beaches by being not a huge fan of. I wrestled in high school and they hated it, but I fell in love with it, and so they loved me, but they hated my sport. But they knew it was good for me, but it was dangerous and they didn't like it. And of course, they're my parents. They love me. They wanted me to be safe, and safe sucks. Like I have no desire to be safe. Anything that's fun usually requires a waiver.
I was about to say there's no fun and safe.
You're right, and as someone who has XY chromosome, I'm wired to want to do things that are combative. And so that kind of bombed the beaches for me a little bit of being normalizing people's disapproval. And I think my parents did teach me really well to like, hey, other people's opinions are worth what they cost you to get them, which is nothing. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And so by the time I was 22 and I saw it, I didn't really care what people thought already. So that really helped. Even if I knew it had a lot of mystery around it, I think is fair, because I don't think it has a bad reputation. I think people are ignorant on what it is. Mm-hmm. And I was oblivious. I got a call from a buddy of mine named Frank that we worked together at Lifetime. I was working at Lifetime Fitness Corporation, and I loved my job. I was the educational coordinator, which was great for my ego. There was no pay, but I had a title. And
it's a good exchange.
Yeah. They gave me a title and they didn't have to pay me anymore. And I felt amazing. I was the most valuable trainer of the year before. And I was probably one of the younger people on staff. So, I mean, I had all this, not credibility, status, still too ignorant to understand success. Didn't know that. I just thought status was cool. I had a title, I had a bunch of credentials. I was teaching people that were coming in how to pass the National Academy of Sports Medicine test, because that was a requirement to work there. Within 3 months of getting hired, you had to pass this test, and I aced it. And so they wanted me to teach. And so I'm teaching a class every week. And one of my coworkers who I worked with called me up and he's just like, hey, Tristan, are you looking for a way to make some extra money? And I'm like, well, that's a stupid question. Of course I'm looking for a way to make some extra money. And not because it was a stupid question, because everyone should be looking and everyone should be ambitious. I was just stupid with my money, and my status made me think I could spend more than I had. And I showed up to a Starbucks off of Central 183 in Bedford, Texas. And my life went from going down a career path and going to work a job and be really average and do some cool martial arts stuff at the same time to, oh, I can create an ongoing residual income that I can give to my kids. Let's freaking go. That looks way better than what I'm doing. Because the plan they showed was 10 hours a week over the next 2 years, basically for free. You're not going to make much money, but your third year, you should make about 50 grand. If you follow the program, if you follow the systems, odds aren't in your favor. But if the odds not being in your favor demotivates you, you're probably not wired for this. And I was like, I'm okay with risk. Let's go. And so I went to a meeting and I got my business started officially in October of 2006. So I was 22. And wife was adamantly opposed. Like, to her defense, it being illegal, if it was, wouldn't have deterred me. And it being because,
me off guard.
Well, I had a friend named Josh, and Josh worked with me at Lifetime, but Josh didn't make any money at Lifetime. He made his money selling plants. And at the time, plants were illegal to sell. And Josh would invite me to go. He would always feed me. I didn't realize I was the muscle. So Josh was probably 5'4", 5'5". I mean, way smaller than me. And so he would take me. He's like, hey, you want to go get some food? I was like, heck yeah, I want to get some food. And now I was not unaware of what Josh did. Hence the reason I had no problem with him buying me food, because he had plenty of money. He lived in a really nice apartment, way nicer than mine. So I was at his apartment all the time. But we would go and he's like, hey, I got to go do something real quick. And I'm like, okay. He's like, well, you need to get out. I'm like, why do I have to get out of the car? He's like, just stand there. I was like, okay. I didn't realize it's because I was bigger and that was what he wanted. I wasn't really that big at the time. I think I just size difference proportion, and I was willing, and I was cheap labor, and I didn't realize I was labor. I just thought I was getting free food. And so anyway, Jenny knew that part. And so when I said I started a business, she's like, all right, no, that's not legit. There's no way. And then it was network marketing, which she had some preconceived ideas about. And she told me that I shouldn't do that. It's stupid. It's a scam. And I was like, well, I didn't ask your permission to get into the financial mess I'm in. So I was in a bunch of credit card debt. And got my business started despite her approval. She was cranky, super upset. We had just gotten engaged. And then I told my parents, and I'm like, oh, this is like the greatest thing ever. You get paid to buy your own stuff, and you get to scale it to as big as you want. There's these people making 7-figure incomes doing what we do. And my dad's a certified financial planner, great career in the insurance industry. He's like, Tristan, I study businesses like that. I know all about that business. Your mom and I were in a business like that before. It didn't work for us. And I don't think he caught that he said it. And he goes, it didn't work for us. It won't work for you either. You should get out while you still can. And it was just, unfortunately, if he had said it any other way, I probably would have listened to him. But as soon as he said, you can't do it either, it's just like,
he pushed you.
Challenge.
Well, and he didn't mean to, but I took it really personally. It's like, what do you mean just because you couldn't, I can't? I'm
yeah,
like,
well, that's what winners do. They're like, bet me.
Exactly.
Bet.
And
famous last word.
yeah, so I got my business started despite their disapproval, and they were way more important to me in terms of what their opinions were than any of the people who told me that this was not a good business model. So I had a very distinct advantage of the people closest to me giving me a hard time about it. So when other people gave me a hard time about it, I didn't care.
How much credit card debt did you have?
Probably at the time close to 50. So in today's dollars, more.
Like 100?
I mean, 07. So yeah, 30%, give or take, is probably what we would adjust for. And I was making maybe $2,000 to $3,000 a month take home. Yeah. So yeah, proportionately it was stupid.
So $2,000-3,000 a month, $50,000 in credit card debt. You see this business, and the people that raised you to not give any credence or weight to other people's opinions are now telling you what to think and to actually care. Hey, this is not a good thing. You should not do it. How did you process that? Because obviously you did it. Obviously you became successful. But in the moment, how did you process that?
Yeah.
In the moment, I was blessed with a organization of people around me. Excuse me. I was blessed with an organization of people around me who were really encouraging, and finding out that it was not unnormal for your close friends and family to be disapproving, because you're spotlighting what makes them uncomfortable that you're willing to do. Because it isn't that this doesn't work. No one can argue that it works. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Obviously, a lot of people have been wildly successful and have helped other people be successful. And I'd already seen that. And I had a lot of self-assurance that I knew what was true and what wasn't. And I noticed these people weren't full of it. I just felt like I had a decent judge of character. And if you've heard the adage, if you knew what I knew, you'd do what I do. I just had that going in. And so I was convinced if my parents had just seen it the way I saw it, and if Jenny had come to the meeting with me and seen what I've seen, they'd be speaking a different tune, but they didn't. And so I was just hypersensitive to the fact that people are very confident when they're ignorant. And I just didn't read into it that much, despite I've been blessed without approval addiction. Not that I don't want it. I'm just not addicted to it. And I was adamant that if I just get the results that they're saying I can get, which I believed in my capacity, that the back end of it would be they'll come around once the money's coming. And that's actually what ended up happening. It just took a lot longer than I thought it would, to say the least.
So what happened with your dad? What kind of friction did it cause? Did you lose just quote unquote like respect from your dad because obviously you pursued it. What came from it? So
I got my business started, and I was taught, they have a program that we still teach today called the 9 core action steps. Basically just 9 things that everyone who has built 6-figure and above incomes do. And it was simple stuff that I was 100% in control of. And I looked at it and I said, okay, well, if that's the minimums, just like in wrestling, I wrestled in high school, and I'd say 80% of my success in the business world I learned in high school wrestling. And I think I was in a good wrestling program too. I keep forgetting that part. I assume everyone's wrestling experience was like mine. But our school won, it was in Southern California, and we won, it's called CIF, which is the Interscholastic League. We won like 20 years in a row. And we were at 6,000 feet elevation. So our endurance was way higher than the people that were in the rest of the state. And when it comes to understanding what helped me, because I was not a naturally talented athlete, and unfortunately, I didn't get into the sport till I was 15. Most of those kids have been wrestling since they were single digits. So all these kids had a head start. So I was working out all the time on my own, just trying to catch up. And I knew that effort output is one of the direct correlations to some of the success I saw in wrestling. So I applied it in business. So I was like, okay, if they say do it twice a week, I'm going to do it 4 times a week. If they say read 30 pages, I'm going to read 60 pages. If they said, I just doubled everything that I was in control of doubling. They said communicate once a day. I pestered my sponsor 2-3 times a day. Like, we talked all the time. Jenny called him my boyfriend because I talked to him more than I talked to her. And I just applied that. And so I got off to a decent start. I didn't have any good results, but they applauded all the activity. So I felt really good about it. And they kept telling me that's going to yield to results down the road. Keep doing what you're doing. And that was good enough for me. And so I was really confident that I was going to get good results. And then my dad, hey, quit while you can. You're disobeying your dad. You're really upsetting me. And I'm like, you've been upset with me since I was a teenager, and it's not seeming like a lot's changing. So we had been butting heads relationally, and only because it was moving into a segment of where I was getting mentorship from somewhere else and he wasn't comfortable with that. He didn't know how to respond. Yeah. And I was also super immature. I'm going to prove you wrong, Dad. So like it definitely fueled some discomfort. And he got to the point where all my bad financial decisions were catching up to me. And so it was visual that I was in a financially terrible position. And they saw it in correlation to me starting the business. It wasn't the business's fault. I was an idiot with my money. It was completely my fault. The business just spotlighted all of the bad decisions I had been making. And so he sends me a nasty email so I started in October of 2006. This is like January, February 2007. Hey, if you don't quit that business, I'm going to cut you out of the trust. And I sent him back a nasty reply saying, I'll be wealthy here. You can keep your trust. And we're not talking a small amount. My dad was very successful at the time and on track to be even more successful.
How much do you think that would have been at the time? Maybe just at the time.
Well,
I know there's some intricacies of how that works, but
right. Long story short, my dad is probably top 0.0 something income, was at the time, is today, and is retired. To put it in perspective, very, very, very wealthy.
Yeah. So you're not walking away from
I'm not walking away from a little bit.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like the approach that you took and the approach that your dad was taking, that there was no pathway to agree.
Correct.
Y'all both kind of sound stuck in your ways
at
that point in time.
He replicated himself very well here. 100%. I blame him. I probably responded the way he would have, but he raised me the best he could. My grandfather, his dad, died when he was, 4 or 5. I might be getting the age a little wrong, but it was single digits. He was very young. And so the fact that my dad even is, still married to my mom in 2026 in a culture where trading out models is normal. I mean, integrity and character is not in question. And he did the best he could, but fathering is a skill set that no one taught him. And so I, at the time, did not have very much grace. Looking back, I should have. And I mean, I was 22 going on 16. I was super immature. And so it wasn't like I really thought through the decision. It was I'm going to be successful here, so I don't need that. And I'm not going to sacrifice my ego to make you feel better. And I'm definitely not going to quit. So that was the thing. There wasn't an agreeable point. It was either do what he says or else. And my personality type just means, okay, then means, or else is obviously the option. What's the or else?
It's like a double dog dare.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can't turn that down.
That double dog dare is basically the personification of most of my career. I've just done a lot of things. Like, you can't do that. I'm like, okay, well, I have to now.
No, I have to. Yeah.
So with your dad disapproving, that's a tough spot to be in. But when you couple that with an industry that has some backlash, right? And you said it was out of people's ignorance of the inner workings of the industry.
Well, and bad experiences with bad people.
Okay, yeah.
For sure.
Because there's definitely some examples. There's plenty of examples of bad experiences, right? But some would even say that you, in the network marketing realm, you make money from working on the backs of other people. I would even say, as far as, you take advantage of people, and that's how you make money. That's I think the perceived notion that people have about network marketing. So when you combine that, maybe you didn't know that at the time when you got started, but that's...
Yeah, but you hear it pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be in the industry long to hear all of that stuff. Now, you can be in the industry long and not hear that stuff if you're not building it. But if you're actually prospecting at a clip that will create some desirable results, you can't avoid that stuff. Yeah. And I'd say it's more from people experiencing people who had no business being in business, starting a network marketing business, and then creating a bad reputation for the industry by not being well trained.
So you think these bad experiences come from people bringing in people into the industry that had no business being in the first place? Okay.
Yeah. Because everyone says so I asked my sponsor in the network marketing business, hey, what's the catch? Like, you work part-time, you create a full-time income that you can eventually give to your kids. They can build it with you. There's very low to no overhead. Like, I can scale it anywhere. There's 100 countries our company's in that I can expand to. What's the catch? And he goes, you're sitting on it. It takes really hard work. And in my head, I'm like, day laborers work really hard. And they're not wealthy.
No end in sight.
Right. I'm like, that can't be the catch. And so what the catch actually is that you have to take a temporary social downgrade to ignorant people. Because the more people, the bigger the house that the person lives in, the more they tend to applaud what I do. And even when I was new, the people who were really wealthy at Lifetime, I told them what I was doing. They're, oh, that's great. But I told my college classmates, you retard, those things are scams. I just saw I was very blessed early to be training high income clients that I had good relationships with and told them what I was doing. And they were all, the high income people were like, that's cool. And they bought products from me and they wanted to support me. And not because I was their trainer that they patted me on the head and felt sorry for, they got it. They're like, yeah, we have 3 streams of income. You definitely need another stream of income. And then my classmate in college algebra might be getting an A in algebra and I'm flunking. But he just didn't get it. He's like, oh, that's a pyramid scheme. They make money off of all the people buying the kit to get in. I'm like, why wouldn't they make money off of the kit to get, like, there needs to be an incentive. Like, it just, the whole making money off other people. I was hyper aware. I charged a client $100 for a session and Lifetime paid me 52%. I knew they kept the rest of it. That was the trade. They provided the atmosphere for me to train them in. They provided the uniform that I got to wear with their logo on it. I leveraged their business to make money. I just didn't have any ownership. But in network marketing, they gave me ownership. I'm like, oh, I get to own this? Oh, and I get this percentage? This is way better than a job. And so the disparity of who approved really made it more concrete why I should.
How do you respond to the people that have the accusation that, man, you lose so much money in things like that? And I'm paraphrasing because sure, I've even heard some of this, but you lose so much money in a thing like that. You lose money that could go to your kids. You lose time with your family. Like there's a lot of negative aspects that people associate with that. So how do you respond to that? Because obviously, I mean, you have a wife. You've been married how many years?
19 years.
19 years.
18.
You have 4 kids.
One of each.
There's only 2?
There's only 2 genders.
I could have sworn there was more.
Right. Yeah.
It's 2026, right?
Yeah.
There's plenty more.
Exactly.
Hey, this is my show.
Yeah. Can we edit that?
No.
Good.
No,
probably won't.
No, we're gonna keep it in.
Dude, that used to be my favorite joke. So once I had my 3rd kid, I used to say, we have 3 kids, one of each, and the whole audience would laugh. You say that now, the audience doesn't know if they can laugh. It's wild how fast that changed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we need to go see.
That was a great joke.
I didn't realize it was a joke, and then I realized it.
That's why we need to go see Scary Movie 6 together. And
oh my gosh, there's a 6?
Oh yeah, it's coming. Yeah, it's gonna offend everybody. Yeah.
Good
yeah,
grief.
It's gonna be great. But we're entrepreneurs. We don't watch movies or we don't have fun. We don't do any of that stuff. No, Tristan's like, have fun.
I don't know how not to have fun.
And that's what motivated me about the success that you had, because I remember you telling me about, the Xbox you had set up on your TV in your media room, and I was like, this guy works his guts out, and he gets to have a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
work hard, play hard.
I was like, I envy that so bad. Like that was because, when you're just in the middle of sucking responsibility and you're poor, like, and you just stay there, that's such a miserable state to be in. Mm-hmm. But sorry, that's a side tangent. The other part I'm curious about is you mentioned your wife not being excited.
Right.
But you were involved in network marketing. So I'm curious to know, I mean, is it just a thing where all women are shallow enough to where you put money in front of them and then all of a sudden they're excited about what you're doing? Or was there something about you that made her question anything you did? Like, I'm curious why there was even beef.
It was definitely not a question of me. Like, I think she was really untrusting of the people, and then she got to know the people, and then she turned around. And to be fair, the network marketing industry is actually really female dominant. Like, our organization is very male dominant. But if you look at all of the other network marketing businesses out there, it's like, I think it's 70-30. Like, it's really female dominant because it's a relationship driven business, and guys suck at it. Guys suck at relationships, and who are good at relationships? Gals. And
girls make friends.
Girls make friends, and they trust each other a lot faster.
Yes.
You put 3 girls in a room, they trust each other a lot faster than if you put 3 dudes in a room. Now, 3 dudes in a room will get along better. Those 3 gals might murder each other. But if they don't murder each other, they trust each other. You put 3 dudes in a room for 10 hours, we still don't trust each other.
Is this accurate?
Pretty accurate,
okay.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
You either immediately bond or you immediately know you can't trust that person. That's why girls make friends in the bathroom. And I like doing business with women, but I also like doing business with men. Men never trust me. Women will either immediately trust me or they will show that they don't trust me. And then I know what I'm working against. So, yeah.
But you don't do business in the bathroom. Just make friends in the bathroom.
Hey, I've closed deals in the bathroom.
any port in a storm.
If there's enough money there, I'd say that's a good tactic.
Well, I mean, the thing with Jenny and I, so we started dating in high school. And so we had already been dating and we were engaged 4 years in. I have two major regrets, not getting married younger and not having kids younger. If I had to do over again, I would have done both way earlier. And she agrees. She had a problem with commitment, which is why we took so long to get married. And I had a problem with responsibility, which is why we took so long to have kids. And I say so long, we still had them way earlier than most. I think I was 23 when we got married, 24. And I was married with 2 kids and owned my home at 27. So I don't know when the timelines were in my ages, but I'm noticing most people aren't even getting married till they're 30, if they get married. And they're like, oh, we're having our first kid and they're 40. I'm like, I'm 41. I mean, I would be exhausted with a newborn right now. And I say that, I mean, I've got friends older than me that are having their 7th and 8th kids. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just being a pansy. But yeah, our relationship was not necessarily the issue. It was, she was really untrusting because of all of the reputations that people who had no business being a business went around creating a bad reputation for network marketing. And I don't blame her. Looking back.
Did it ever put your relationship in jeopardy? Like, because you are, I mean, you commit.
Yep.
From what I know about you, you commit. When you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. And obviously you built a network marketing business that she highly disapproved of.
So she would hammer. So when I first started, she was so upset. I would go out at night to build my business and she would hammer dial me to where I couldn't use my phone. And in network marketing business, you kind of need your phone. And so we got huge knockout, drag out fights. We use PV/BV in our business as our tracking of business. And so we call them high PV, low volume discussion, or high volume, low PV discussions, because it was wild. And in probably 6 months in, 7 months in, at one point she threw a ring at me. It's either me or the business. I'm like, you're not making me pick. If that's going to be an argument, you're not going to support me in anything later. Do whatever you want. She threw a ring at me, stormed out. She came back. We fixed it. But I mean, like, I'm just not going to budge. And it's not because I'm so bold or anything like that. I'm just like, I'm not going to, I wasn't going to be with someone who wouldn't support me because I didn't want a backseat driver in our marriage. I wanted one head. And that was a marriage relationship decision, not a business thing. It was if you won't support me in this and you won't let me make the decision, I'm going to be fighting you the rest of our marriage. I'm not willing to do that. And the second thing is, it was you can't trust me to think that this is the right thing when I have more information than you do. We're going to be fighting the whole time. And since that fight, and she actually went home, her mom gave her some good advice. She's like, hey, if you can't support him doing this, it's basically the same thing I was understanding but couldn't pontificate. And that's why her mom's allowed to move in with us. So her mom now lives with us, and it's because she supported me back then. So, okay, Mom, you can live with us. That's cool. And that's not why. That's not actually
really
why.
Funny, though.
We have a great relationship. But the friction was more of a who's in charge, and she didn't know how to let me be in charge. But once we established that there was one head, everything actually grew pretty well. We fixed it at that point. It was more like 12 months in. And then probably 4 months later, we tripled our income.
Wow.
So,
man, I feel like I need to have a conversation with her. I struggle with that so hard.
Yeah.
Bad.
You
yeah.
should.
And I want my husband
She's way smarter than me.
Yeah. Supporting rather than leading. That's hard for me, especially as a woman in business. You think you know a lot, not at all, but a lot.
So you would think, so some would say that's really chauvinistic of you. That's really
100%.
That's so old school. You're taking us back to the Pilgrim days where women are, they can't make decisions. They can't think for themselves. They're so stupid. They can't, they need a man to lead them. That's, I think, what some people would say and think about what you just said. Yep. And you literally just said, wow, that's a pretty normal desire. Mm-hmm. That is, I think, where did that come from? Like, how do you respond to something like that? Because I think you come from the background, I think, from leadership, responsibility, self-sacrifice, service. Other people see that as you're being a dickhead and a chauvinist right now. Like you shouldn't be treating women that way. How do you respond to something like that?
Well, I didn't write the mail. I just delivered it. And God wrote us some letters, and they're pretty important. And if you go to Ephesians, where it talks about the roles of men and women, God gives us like 13 commands, and then he gives women 3. The 13 we're supposed to do will make you want to do the 3. We're supposed to love our wives as Christ loved the church. Let's take an analysis of how Christ loved the church. He initiated when we didn't ask. We said, we want a king. He's like, you don't need a king, you need this. So he gave us what we didn't want but needed without us asking, without us appreciating it, while we complained the whole time.
So ungrateful.
Understatement. Then we killed him, and then he came back and rescued us anyway. So love your wife as Christ loved the church. Okay, so sacrificed for her, initiated for her, took criticism for her, turned the other cheek for her, keep going. So we're to love our wives as Christ loved the church, and we're to love our wives as ourselves. So I'm to treat my wife better, or at least as good as I treat myself. So I don't just clean up my side of the bed, I clean up her side of the bed. But that's her side of the bed. But that's my side of the bed, because we're the two shall become one flesh. Treat her as, would I want her to clean up my side? Well, yeah. So I'll clean up her side. And if I see something she left on the floor, I'll pick it up. Why? Because I want her to pick up my stuff. Like, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. And so love your wife as Christ loved the church, and obviously love her as yourself. Pretty easy to submit to that. If I genuinely have her best interests in mind, if I genuinely am self-sacrificing, if I'm going to be uncomfortable until she's comfortable, she's not going to have a hard time submitting. And you have the 3 Ps. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm going to push back on that because
Please.
My husband checks every box. I mean, truly every box. Treats me better than he treats himself. Loves me so hard. Like, leads me well. Such a good spiritual head of household. But I know more in finance. I know more in business. I know more in how to pay the bills. Like, I'm on top of all of those things. And those things are things that he's learning in his adulthood, because he didn't have a very good understanding of all those things growing up. His dad wasn't really around that much. So he just didn't know what he didn't know. I mean, we had a car catch on fire. We're still making payments on, like, you know what I mean? There's just things that have happened because of his choices.
Okay. I love this subject. Yeah. Car caught on fire.
Oh, no. Yeah. He went, okay, let me tell you this. This is a lesson he learned the hard way. And I let him learn hard lessons with a lot of grace, because I want him to feel confident in the decisions he's making. He's got to learn the hard way sometimes. So he went and got a car on his own. And we were dating at the time, not even engaged. Went and got this car from CarMax. Did not get gap insurance because he didn't know what it was.
Oh, no.
Literally a month and a half later, he hears this weird sound, smells this smell. He's driving down the highway going to Tyler, and all of a sudden people are like honking and waving, and he's like, hi, like, what's going on? His car's on fire. So he pulls over like super fast. His flip-flops are melting. He literally runs, and then boom, explosion.
Oh, I'm glad he got out.
Yeah, and the kids, thank God, weren't in the car, but car seats, yeah. So,
Oof.
yeah.
So was he? So as soon as you drive a used car off a car lot, obviously you're upside down on it, which is why you get gap.
Right.
On fire. That's insane. What kind of car was it?
Oh God, it was a Kia. At the time, I think they were going through like all the weird lawsuits anyways, but he couldn't hop in because he didn't have gap insurance and he didn't buy it new, and all these reasons. I looked into it because I'm like, first of all, why didn't you get gap insurance? How did you not know that? And so it's these things that I'm like, I already know more than you. So it's just like feeding my ego of I know more, but I was sent here to help him, and he was sent here to lead.
Exactly.
And
so if we want to
it's-
carry that couch that's behind us, okay, that's a big sectional couch. We need all the help we can get. And living a life to give glory to God is like moving that couch. You're not going to do it well on your own. Like, is there like strong men out there that could throw it on a shoulder and say, okay, I got this, and walk out with it? Probably. But I mean, it's a sectional. Like, mechanically, that doesn't even make sense. You need help. And so God made man and said, ugh, and upgraded and made helpmate for the exact reasons you're talking about. We're retarded. We're egomaniacs. We think with one head at a time. We have absolutely no foresight in half the decisions we make. Like, guys are retarded. So what God tells you isn't, well, yeah, you know better, you should. He goes, so what? So that's the problem. It's not a that you're not smarter. And it's not that you couldn't lead. It's that you're not supposed to, because now God says, oh, I can trust you. And because she laid her yeses at the altar to a guy who would have ridden the short bus if our school district had one. That's terrifying.
She said, lead me to a ditch. It's fine.
Right. And legit.
great.
But it's true. I mean, so there's 4 P's that Vodi Bakum is probably one of the best pastors ever.
Rest in peace.
I mean, just a pontificator that was, I mean, if you haven't heard of Vodi Bakum's sermon, you need to. Oh, he's fantastic.
Yeah,
he just
great.
passed a little while ago.
Check it out.
Yeah, amazing. But he calls it the 4 P's. They're the pastor, provider, protector, priest. It's the 4 thing guys are called to do in their marriage. He wrote a book called What He Must Be to Marry My Daughter. And amazing book for everybody to read. It has nothing to do with marriage, even though it does. It's about manhood. And it's not what he should be, it's what he must be. It's like God said it, and he's who I stole. I didn't write the mail, I just delivered it. So if we go through the scriptures, the kingdom of God is everything we want and desire flipped upside down for our good. The 10 Commandments are our guardrail to keep us from screwing up, not to restrict us from joy and
to
freedom.
protect us.
Right. I mean, it's don't kill. Why? Because life gets a lot harder when you kill people. Don't steal stuff. Why? Because life gets a lot harder when you're taking stuff and then people find out about it. Take a day off every week. Why? Because you suck if you don't. I mean, like, it's all for our good. And the hierarchy is designed by the creator. So like, I didn't put diesel gas in my car because the creator of the car said, don't, it takes this gas. And no one is arguing that my wife is better at math than I am, that my wife can probably budget better than I can, that she's far more intuitive with relationships than I am. I am relationally retarded. I am hyper unaware when someone's upset.
You get 2 more R words for this episode.
Just 2?
Just 2.
Okay, so I gotta use them. I gotta use them wisely. Then I know.
Like,
oh yeah, my brother-in-law my brother told me we don't use that word. I was like, what, retarded? And he goes, yeah, we don't use that word. And I was like, retarded, like inhibited, slower than what is normal. He goes, yeah, we don't use that word. I was like, give me a better word. He goes, slow. But that's not as good of a word.
It's not as fun.
Yeah. Anyway, the 4 P's, pastor, provider, protector, priest. Okay. So I'm the pastor. Okay. So I'm in charge of relationships. Should I be? Have you seen guys? Have you ever put 5 guys in a room, see what happens relationally, right? I'm supposed to be the pastor, provider, not just economically. I'm supposed to provide emotional stability. I'm supposed to provide, joy. I mean, I'm supposed to provide all the things that my wife needs. I'm supposed to protect, not just physically, even though that's a big part. I'm supposed to protect her emotions. I'm supposed to protect her ego. I'm going to need to make her feel beautiful and adored and loved. And I'm supposed to be the priest. I should know the scriptures and be able to protect my house with the word of God. And we naturally suck at that. We're always in a process of sanctification and vivification. And I think that if we follow God's preferences and standards, because obviously his preferences are commands, but we can see where there's commands and, hey, it will go well for you if. Basically letting us know, hey, if you're willing and obedient, you'll eat the fruit of the land. He'll let us go hungry though. And willing is obviously attitude. Obedient is the actual actions. And we can be very obedient with a bad attitude and not get blessings. And on the flip side, we can have very good attitudes, but be very disobedient. And I've seen a lot of couples just in my network marketing business that we've coached through the years where this wild thing, amazing woman is married to this mutant of a dude. And we're like, I don't know. I mean, you knew he was kind of dumb when you married him, right? And they're always like, yeah, but I mean, I thought he'd get better. I was like, why did you think that? Like what indicators?
Max out at like 25, right?
Say that again.
I said, don't you like max out right here at 25?
I don't think it ever gets there.
Maybe
it hasn't.
I'd be lucky if I did.
Yeah, 41.
Not to take
not
us
yet.
Down this path. Sorry about that.
No, it's a good path. I mean, and the pushback is so awesome because our culture doesn't even. We're not even supposed to talk about it. Like, how dare you say that they're not equal? It's like, well, 2 heads make a monster. Like, we both can't drive my car. Like, there's no way.
We try sometimes. Yeah, doesn't go well.
And you fight. And it ends up going, okay, somebody has to be wrong. And I regularly remind myself, same team. It's like you're not my opponent. And we're always, whenever we start jockeying, it's because we're hyper focused on ourselves. And when we're hyper-focused on the mission and we're hyper-focused on what needs to get done, very little friction.
So roll that into business. Like, I'll let you take the lead here if you want.
Well, I want to go down. So I want to know about the pivot from you doing things because people poked you and the winner in you said, I want to do it. Mm-hmm. The pivot from that to you becoming something different, you becoming a new person, you having a new identity. I want to ask you that, but there's a question I want to ask.
Sure.
There is, let's take maybe religion aside. Let's take, maybe the network marketing environment and team that you met at the time. Do you think you would have not caved, but do you think you would have given in to what your wife said if it was anything else? Like
No.
if because you had a lot of reinforcement, and some would even say you were maybe even manipulated into making a really rash decision against someone that loved you and that you were about to marry. Some would call that manipulation. How do you respond to that?
So when I was 15, I started wrestling, and I was about to so we had a tournament the day after the weekend before Thanksgiving week. And I'd never cut weight before, didn't know how to do it. My parents, not health and fitness enthusiasts, they don't know how to eat for health. They eat because they like to eat, right? And so I'm cutting weight. It's Wednesday, and my coach is like, okay, last swig of water. Like, you're done. Like, you need to sweat tomorrow. You got 5 to go. I'm like, okay, 5 pounds. I have no idea what's good, what's bad. And I'm wrapping up Thursday night. We're leaving Saturday morning for the tournament. I weigh in Saturday morning. And Thursday night was last swig of water. It's like, no, you got to cut. And I shower, I go home, and my parents are like, hey, you need to come and eat. Like, we're having family dinner. I'm like, I would rather not sit at the table and watch all of you eat. Like, that sounds miserable. I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, no. And so they start poking at me like, Tristan, this is stupid. This is unhealthy. You need to eat dinner. We don't want you uncomfortable. And I'm like, in my head, I'm hungry. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm scared because I don't want to get my butt beat on Saturday. Right. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there getting berated by both parents that this is so dumb. I got my younger sibling to the table, but they're oblivious. And I cave. I mentally cave. I mentally quit. And I say, okay, I'm not going to go on Saturday. And I reach for the water, and I'm 41. I'm 15 at the time. I remember the shape of the glass, exactly what the glass looks like. There were 3 ice cubes in it that had slightly melted. I took a sip of the water, and it was awesome. It was so cold. I hadn't had water for several hours plus. Took my first bite of the chicken and rice. Oh, I mean, the fork had 3 prongs. I mean, I remember the design on the fork. I remember all of it because it's as good as that sensation was. It was also the worst sensation of my life. It was the first time I had ever quit. And I'm still disgusted with myself. I don't know what the difference is. That 30 or 26 years. My math is probably way off, but a couple decades at least. And so since then, one of my upsides, and I said that's when I say I've learned a lot from wrestling, it's stuff like that, where I had that experience. I said, I am never quitting on something I decided to do again. That sucked. Like, I never want to experience that again. And I haven't. Yeah. And I'm not saying that I haven't like given up when things were stupid or something like that, but like in terms of if it got hard, that feeling I experienced was way worse than any physical thing I've ever gone through. And, I've done some pretty hard things over the years, and nothing was worse than that. And so would I have quit fast forward? No, but it's because of that dog on the bone tenacity I have was born at that dinner table.
So you would say that's like what snaps you out of it when you find yourself maybe heading that route. Yeah. You would say that snaps you out of it, that always, memory.
100%. And it's that exact memory. It's one.
Clearly, it down to the 3-pronged fork.
Yeah, and the design on the fork. I wish I could describe it. Yeah, no, I don't. It's vivid. Yeah.
Do you have a thing that snaps you out when you're going down that path? Because I do.
What's yours?
I would like to hear yours.
Yeah.
Okay, it's so lame, but I love like rock music. Like, I truly do. And anytime I'm headed down a path where I'm just like
suburban angry white boy.
Like, rock music, like heavy metal, like straight up. My dad was in a rock band my whole life, so nice. Yeah. So you know the song "Creep"?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anytime I'm feeling like so down on myself, and I should, because I'm being lazy, or I'm like quitting mentally, or like physically, I'm not doing the things I need to do to achieve what I need to achieve. I listen to that and I get a good lift in, and I just like tell myself like, this is lame. Like, why are you doing this? Get your together, listen to that song, get a good lift in, and like immediately, or if it's not like being lazy with my routine, it's, let's say my work. I listen to that song as loud as possible, truly as loud as possible. And then I get my stuff done.
Good.
It just like snaps me out. It's like my like
Your
turn
reset.
it around. Yeah, my reset. It's my reset. Creep.
That's cool.
That sounds like a rhythm or something that helps with, like, you know, the week to week, the day to day. I don't know if I have that, but I do recall there was a time where I was working at a gas station and I was pulling doubles, and my doubles were overnight. So I started work at like 3 p.m. and then I would work until 10, and then I would have a 30-minute gap, and then I would work 10:30 to 5 or 6 in the morning. And doing that over and over and over and over again in the cold freezers, miserable. And I remember the morning that I was done. I was in my little apartment with like 4 or 5 other dudes, probably just four other guys. It was a 2-bedroom apartment with 4 guys. And that was a fun time. But when you're with your buds, I mean, it's nobody. You could fit 100 guys in there and it'd be a good time. But I remember waking up again for just the last time, going to the mirror, looking at myself. I put on my clown outfit, my uniform. I looked in the mirror and I was like, God, what am I doing? Like, and that wasn't me quitting, but that was me having that moment of like something's got to give. But it hurt that bad. It sucked that bad. And it sounds like in that moment exactly when you took that bite and you drank that glass of water, you were like, this sucks. You wanted it. And obviously I'm working because I want money. I want to change my financial situation, and I'm a hard worker. But it was hurting me so bad because it wasn't in line with my character. It wasn't in line with what I knew I could do in my potential.
Right.
And that's why, from what I'm hearing, that's why it hurt you so bad.
Yeah. Well, and what's wild is like, I didn't cry myself to sleep, woke up the next morning. Sure. Everything was kind of normal. It's just, it was that immediate moment. I was so disgusted with myself that I'm like, there's no way I was created for this. And I was an evolutionist at the time. I wasn't a believer. I mean, it wasn't even a spiritual thing. It was I want to say it was a personality conflict, because I don't even think I was that ambitious yet. It was so gross to know that I just gave up. Like, I just rolled over on my back, and I'm like, and I'm just going to eat fat. I'm going to be fat and be merry. Right. And yeah.
So what were you at the time? Maybe like leading up to college, what did you have any belief system or?
No. My parents are, I'd say, angry agnostics. They say they're Catholic, but I don't think they know what they believe. As of the time of this recording, I'm hoping for radical salvation and them submitting their lives to the lordship of Jesus in their life. And I don't care if they do that through Catholicism or through any of the bazillion of Protestant denominations. I don't care. It's like, as long as Jesus is Lord and you have a relationship with him, I'm good. Is it a cracker or is it Jesus? Yeah, sure. Like, let's make sure Jesus is Lord, and we can talk about that stuff later. Yeah. And when it comes to my belief system going into college, I moved to Texas in 2001. I was 17. And I went to about 4 or 5 churches with different gals that I had ulterior motives with and going to church, obviously. And the way those gals acted when they weren't at church made me go, okay, there's absolutely nothing to this faith here. And I lived in Texas from 2001 to 2006, never heard the gospel. No one ever walked me through the 10 Commandments and let me know that you can't keep them.
Which is weird, being in the Bible Belt.
You would think. I had evangelists show up at my door, but none of them were really well rooted, and they didn't have a ready defense. They were very easy to poke holes. So Jesus loves you and wants to have a relationship with you. And I was like, great. Why? And they're like, well, because he just loves you. And I'm like, okay, but like, I need more than you have a God-shaped hole in your heart. I'm like, porn's great. Like, I don't think you've watched it recently. It's pretty great. Yeah. And that's the thing. They just never really had an answer because they were probably super hypocritical behind closed doors. Yeah. And then I went to a major weekend conference for my network marketing business. And I saw a guy and his wife that had wild amount of success in their life. And they were strong believers and didn't shy away from the scriptures. And going into that conference, the person who sponsored me, Robert, knew his Bible backwards, forwards, upside down, reverse, quoted it all the time without chapter and verse. I kept going home and Googling he kept quoting stuff, and it was always scripture.
Mm-hmm. It's the same book.
Yeah. A couple that was running the meeting I plugged into, Mike and Amy, same thing. Great marriage. They adored each other. They had good kids. He had a good career in corporate America outside of his network marketing business, accomplished military veteran, and same thing, strong believers. So I was like, okay, these people are different. And I went to that conference, and Saturday night, it's like, hey, we're going to do a non-denominational Christian worship service Sunday morning. If you want to come, we want you to come. Everyone's away from their home church, so we're just letting everyone have church together. If you want to come, we want you to come. And so I go back upstairs, and I get into bed and sharing a room with Robert. And Robert's like, hey, so we got to get up at this time so we can make church tomorrow. I'm like, oh, I'm sleeping in. I'm not going to church. And he goes, what do you mean you're not going to church? I'm like, why would I? Like, I don't believe that stuff. He's like, doesn't matter if you believe it. Joe, the guy who's running the conference, said he's going to share his belief system. You just flew across the country with money you didn't have. Don't you want to learn how this guy thinks? And I'm like, okay, that's fair. And so I go, and they're singing praise and worship, freaks me out. Like, no thanks. So I sit in the hallway. I come in, now they're taking up an offering, and I was like, knew they were just trying to get money.
The money.
Went back in the hallway, and I came back in, and then he just told his testimony, shared the gospel. He literally walked. He's never shared it like this since. So I think everything's on purpose for a purpose. You got to just walk through the 10 Commandments. It's like everyone's lied, everyone's stolen something, regardless of value. And he's like, hey, if you've hated someone, that's murder by God's standards. Like, you failed all of them. And I'm like, oh, like I'd never been convicted like that. I'm like, I'm screwed if hell's real. And he's like, hell's very real. I mean, there's absolutely nothing that you can do. Like, there's no absolving, there's no fine. The fine is death and eternal separation. And he's like, but God. And then he walked through the gospel message. And I'm like, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. That makes so much sense. And I'm convicted, I'm repentant, I'm crying. And he's like, hey, like, nothing you can do to make God love you less. Nothing. There's nothing you could have done. It's all forgivable. It's like, if you murder someone, don't do it again. Like, it doesn't mean there aren't consequences here, but you repent, you're good. And I'm like, I want that. That's awesome. And then he said, if you want, and I had been, up until this point, making fun of Christians, hammering people who had faith. Just made Saul of Tarsus look like a Girl Scout. Like, no resolve or no reservation of making people feel bad about being a believer. And he goes, hey, if you want me to pray with you, come on up here. I'll pray with you. Boldness is rewarded. And now, I didn't know the scriptures. He said, if you stand before men on earth, God will stand, or Jesus will stand before his Father in heaven for you. So take a bold step, stand up, come on up here. I'll pray with you. If not, we're moving on. And so he says that, and I say, no way. I am not getting up there, not happening. And audibly heard God say, go. And there was a heavyset African-American woman sitting next to me, and it wasn't her. And Robert, my raging Cajun friend with a Louisiana accent, wasn't him. And there was no one behind. Like, God said, go. I'm like, okay. And I got up, I ran, and the stage is probably 3 feet up. I box jump up there. And of course, freaks Joe out. I'm wearing Homer Simpson flip-flops, baggy jeans, a hoodie.
Yes.
And I have like hair everywhere because, it was early.
He can save the worst of us.
Yeah. Understatement. That's good. I think that's why God put me up there first. Like, oh, if that Nimnod has the boldness to go up there, I can go up there too.
I can save anybody.
He paved the way for us.
And so, I didn't know what an altar call was. I didn't know I was supposed to like walk to the front and like hang out with people that also wanted to get prayer. I just, you come up here. Okay. And so I just ran up there and
that's so funny.
Yeah. Said the sinner's prayer, and I got radically saved. Like,
wow.
I've been a Jesus freak ever since. Freaked everybody out that I knew. So it wildly changed my worldview, because I went from nothing created everything to God made everything on purpose for his purpose. And I was like, I don't know what that is. I should probably find out. And we got back from that conference, and Robert gave me a Bible. And he goes, hey, before you plug into a church, there's 66 books in here. Get to know what they say before you have anyone interpret what they say. Mm-hmm. It's in plain English. It's not hard to read. That is a satanic lie. Just read it. He said, start at John. And so I started in John, read through Acts, and then started reading through the epistles. And I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do any of this life stuff. I'm doing this completely backwards. And the more I read, the more I realized I was off base. And the more I realized what I believed wasn't true. And that's what's
what about
wild.
your wife? At this point in time, were you guys engaged?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
So
what did
I
she
proposed
believe?
in September of 06. And yeah, I got saved in November of 06. And I went to another conference in January and didn't take her. And then I just radically changed. It messed her up. And then she got confirmed Catholic in, I think that's usually senior year of high school, something like that, right? Is that usually when that happens? And then she started dating me and I ruined the good Catholic girl. And then she came back to faith probably spring or summer. So we were shacked up together living out of wedlock. And in the summer, like June, we were set to get married the next May. And Robert sits me down and he goes, "Hey, Tristan, like you say you want to do your life for Jesus, but you're treating your fiance like a whore." And I was like, "Well, I got nothing." And he's like, "Hey, I'm not telling you to move out. I'm not telling you what to do. Just saying optics matter." And I'm
This
like,
Robert is very direct with you.
very direct. My raging Cajun
I
friend.
like Robert.
Yeah, I like Robert too. We've butted heads a lot over the years, but net positive influence in my life for sure. And and so I moved in. So Robert and Chase, Chase, were roommates. So I slept on their floor, got Jenny her own apartment, and we lived separate until we got married for 9 months, however many months, 10. Yeah. And no regrets. Yeah, that's looking back. I didn't realize it was a big decision. I was just like, well, yeah, I'm a believer. I have to do that. And then I've talked to people that are shacked up together. I'm like, why are you doing that? I thought you said Jesus is Lord. And they're like, well, he is. So I was like, is he?
Right.
Evidently not. And so, I had a very big worldview change. And so everything else changed in that cascade.
Would you say, I mean, I would assume so, but would you say that was the turning point for you? Back to the question that I wanted to ask, which was, excuse me. The question I wanted to ask was, what was the pivoting point from you just beating your chest and saying, I can do this because you think I can't,
right,
to becoming somebody completely different? Was that the moment?
Yeah. So,
or was there something?
November 19th, 2006, like I died, and Jesus said, "You have to be my slave, but I'll raise you from the dead. You're mine." Like, sold. Versus being dead, that's a way better deal. And there was a lot of me there, but it was the skeleton. It wasn't the living part, if that makes sense. So a lot of the good that I had going into that, I think I kept. But the nasty stuff died. And I mean, it's still in a process of sanctification and vivification for sure. But I went from beating my chest because I wanted to do it to where, okay, God's great and I want to make him look great through whatever I do. And so this became a lot more than just proving everybody wrong. I wanted to prove God right in saving me. Now, you can't earn your salvation, obviously, and I can't do enough to earn God's approval, but I can definitely show that I'm obedient, and I can definitely do what he told me to do with excellence. I mean, it says in Colossians, do everything as if you were working for God, right? And I just changed my motive. My motive went from making me look good to hoping that me looking good made him look good. So it didn't seem a lot different at first, but it definitely compounded very differently from that point forward.
So Dear Founder is a business podcast. I want to hear the stories about the founder. You have other businesses besides just your network marketing business. That's your network marketing business enabled you to, have the skill sets and the income and the time to veer off into other things. Mm-hmm. So this is primarily a business podcast. So I think there would be some that would ask, what the heck does your religion or spirituality or how is that relevant at all?
I have a lot of friends in very odd vocations, and I'm going to I got to give him credit where credit's due. Pastor Matt of the Village Church is a good friend. We do jiu-jitsu at the same school. And I went to his church for 7 years, and he berated us for driving in to go to church. Don't pass good churches to come here. So when I moved, I was walking distance from church, and I moved away. And I'm like, okay, I can't go there. I got to find a local church. He told me to. And so, but to give him credit for the quote, which has been transformational for me, and it's super simple. It's Jesus isn't at the top of the list. your faith and your spirituality, so to speak, your Jesus, the God, the creator of the universe, is not on a list. He's the paper the list is written on. Mm-hmm. And that's where a lot of people love to separate the secular and sacred when everything is spiritual. Like, why is it so easy to read Facebook posts, but so hard to read your Bible? Like, spiritual warfare is real, whether we want to admit it or not. And my business and my faith are so co-mingled, not because I got saved at a business conference. Like, I'm on the board of directors for Black Rhino Private Security Group. Like, there's nothing about my faith directly correlated to that. But I'm convinced God put me there for a reason. And to personify who God made me to be, I have to be obedient to him. So it's going to show up. Mm-hmm. Like, if I'm not making much of Jesus in the marketplace, I don't need to be there. And so, and that may make people who aren't believers uncomfortable. And trust me, at 21 or early part of 22, I would have hated hearing that. But that's part of my testimony. And it was one of the reasons I could talk to people that are unbelievers. Is I just remember I was an adult thinking that way. It's like a lot of people raised in churches don't know how secular people think. Yeah. And I'm like hyper aware of how unbelievers think. Like, I can watch an episode of Bill Maher and go, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. I understand exactly what he's thinking. He's wrong, but I get it. Mm-hmm. Whereas people who have never, like my kids, unfortunately and fortunately, don't know a world where Jesus isn't Lord. Like, that's just the way they've been raised. It's the household they're in. And so they hear stuff like, that's stupid. I'm like, well, hold on. Like, if you only know what they know, it's not stupid. You need to zoom out and say, okay, if you think nothing created everything and that there's no consequences for your immoral actions other than worldly consequences, that worldview makes, that decision makes perfect sense. And that's, my 14-year-old's getting it. My 12-year-old's getting there. And then my 10 and 8-year-old are 10 and 8, and they're boys. So they're, as we already talked about, they're boys. They're retarded.
It'll take a little while.
And I think I've cleared 3 at least since since passing my 2. So yeah, the business side and the spiritual side are definitely correlated. I mean, we can talk about, say, the church doctrine of tithing. And yes, it's in Malachi, but it's really not mentioned a whole lot. It's mentioned a lot more in the Old Testament than the New Testament. But let's just say giving away 10% of your income as a Christian practice, and I know Jews do it too, but I think they give 30. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that as soon as I started giving my money away, my income went up. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, well, we're talking about, we got to keep secular and sacred separate. It's like, well, is it separate? Because my income went up when I was obedient spiritually. And when I pray, I'm more effective in the marketplace. Oh, well, that's your brain and that's your being more in your flow state. And it's like, well, we can call it whatever we want. But if the goal is to make a profit, like whatever works. So, I mean, that rabbit hole we could keep going down, but it's just at least for me, for this founder, is there one of those stickers on this mic too? Okay. For this founder, the list of my priorities doesn't have God at the top. The paper that my list of priorities on is God, and my family's at the top, and then my country, and then my business. And it's in that order. And it's not that I don't want God at the top of the list. I write his name, but I write his name on his paper with his pen. It's all correlated for me. Mm-hmm.
It's a really good, I haven't heard it like that before. I've heard it like spaghetti. Like you've got all the additives in your noodles, and then God is the sauce. He's touching and covering everything.
Right.
So that's a cool one though. I like that one.
I like the spaghetti too. I just, if we think about just look at the atom. Why does the atom look like our solar system? Well, it's because the same person created both. And I think our concept of space and time, because God's outside of it, right? I think we're going to it is going to be wild on the other side of eternity. Like we're going to be like, you did what? I mean, like it's not going to make any sense to our finite brains. It says in Isaiah that his ways are higher than our ways and his thoughts are higher than our thoughts. And I've just stopped trying to figure it out. I'm also hyper aware of that I'm not smart. So it makes my life super simple. I'm like, oh, I don't have to figure that out. That's for smart people.
Yeah. And God's got a good way of redeeming and doing things it's outside of what we can see in the moment. Mm-hmm. Because you had a moment where your dad was disapproving, maybe even disappointed, and you had a moment where your fiance, now wife, was disapproving, disappointed, wanted to leave, and now what's the relationship?
Oh yeah, they're
like
both
now?
Cheerleaders now.
Yeah,
and Yeah, my dad could. I mean, I just started an insurance business in December and he made his fortune in insurance. He couldn't be happier. And he's like, I've been telling you for 20 years to get in that business. So I was like, I know, but I needed to do it on my time. And trust me, I wouldn't have been good at it 20 years ago. So this is perfect timing because God's timing's always perfect. It says in both Psalms and Proverbs that he orders our steps. And cool story about my dad. So in 2013, he got promoted to take over the Honolulu office. So he moves to a mansion in Hawaii and he calls me and he goes, man, my guys suck at networking. They just suck at meeting people. Hey, I want to fly you out here. I want you to teach my guys your networking skills that you've acquired in that network marketing business. I was like, wait, time out.
Hold on.
Hey, so the business you told me to quit that you hated, you want me to come and teach them the skills. Do you want to come or not? I was like, I'm sorry. Yes, I want to come. And so Jenny was on bed rest with our second kid, so she couldn't come. And so I got to do a date weekend with Michaela in Hawaii. And not that my dad hasn't blessed us with immeasurable. I mean, my dad has flown us all over the world. Like that cruise to the Eastern Isles of Europe, or I'm sorry, the Eastern Isles of Scotland and Britain. That wasn't like I couldn't afford a cruise with a butler yet. I mean, we could have, but it would have been really stupid. And yeah, they blessed us a ton. But that trip was really significant because he invited me in, edified me to his sales force, and then had me teach everything I learned here. And that was a really cool circle back from where it was just a few years back.
That's awesome.
So for people that, and not people, for the founders, the business owners, the entrepreneurs, the people that are either going to face this kind of backlash and pushback, or they're experiencing it now. No fluff, no people skills. We all know how to have plenty of that. Just what is the raw answer you would give them if they're experiencing that right now?
Don't stop. The average person is usually at 211 degrees. It doesn't actually take a lot to kick up to 212. It just takes being uncomfortable a little bit longer than everybody else. And I'm convinced that the people who live in the big houses, who drive the nice cars, who go on the great trips, who have the time freedom that everybody lusts after, are the ones who just endured it more. You know who Cameron Haynes is?
No.
He runs a marathon every morning. I'm not exaggerating. And he is an expert archer. I think that's the term, bow hunter, technically. He wrote a book called Endure. And I wish I'd listened to it. Because, I mean, it's very much, he either dictated it or it isn't a heavy book. It's a lot of his story and some philosophy thrown in there. And I think that the people who succeed in business are they got that can't stop, won't stop loop in their head. And like if you're in the marketplace and let's say you're in sales, which I know every entrepreneur is in sales, but like let's say like you're legitimately just door to door or business to business or next name on the list, doesn't matter what it is, dialing for dollars, so to speak. You have to dollarize the effort in retrospect. So let's say my goal is in 5 years to be making $500,000 a year from this business, whatever it is. Doesn't matter what business it is. You need to reverse engineer to the hours you're putting in now, you're going to get paid that first year. And it makes it a lot easier to do the work that doesn't seem like it's making you any money, because you can just go, I just clocked another hour. I just clocked another hour. Or I just made like each meeting you can dollarize. And if you're getting flack from people, they're the ones asking someone else to take the risk, because there's no such thing as a secure job. Your salary that's secure or your guaranteed base, someone else is selling and doing that hard work with risk. That's why they're making so much more than you, and they can pay you the guaranteed salary. It's such a small fraction of what they're bringing in that they're willing to pay someone that amount. It doesn't matter if you're an engineer or if you're an accountant or if you're a lawyer or if you're a massage therapist or a person. Like if you're earning an hourly wage, entrepreneurship doesn't make sense to you. And so taking advice from people who aren't where you want to be is always a losing scenario. And if you're in the process of getting criticism from your close friends and family, that's the only ones who will shake you up. You don't care what strangers think. You care what your friends and family think. And the reason that entrepreneurship is hard is because it's the crabs in a bucket thing. Like you're spotlighting what they're uncomfortable with, and you're highlighting that you're willing to do what they're not willing to do, and they would rather you not do it because it'll make them feel better. But they don't pay your bills. And they definitely won't pay for the luxury car you want to drive or the really nice planned community you want to live in or the trips you want to take. They'll watch football with you. Like I had a couple on my team, and I can't say their names because once I tell the story, they'll know who they are. His brother was really upset with them. Y'all aren't fun anymore. You guys don't go and watch football with us anymore. You don't go to Olive Garden with us anymore. You never do anything. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, that sounds like a blessing to not have to go to Olive Garden. Like
This is where we stop the show.
No, it's gross. It's
I love me some Olive Garden.
No, you don't. You need to get you some actual Italian food. I don't think you actually like Olive Garden.
Okay.
I think you like Italian food, and you're eating. So Olive Garden is Italian Applebee's.
Which I love. I love Crapplebee's.
You do?
So I love
No,
Crapplebee's.
you don't.
Yes, I love Crapplebee's. I
Oh
love
my gosh.
ramen.
Nostalgia.
I love.
That's probably what it
yeah.
So Red Lobster, Applebee's under the sea.
Yes.
Cheesecake Factory, fancy Applebee's.
That's also fair.
Chili's, Tex-Mex Applebee's.
So there's a couple on your team.
Yeah. So anyway, they're like, oh, what's wrong? And I was like, nothing's wrong. You invited them on this journey and they didn't want to come. And when you go and spend 6 months on the French Riviera, they can't come. Like it's just not compatible anymore. And people have a really hard time leaving their social circle because they're afraid they're not going to find another one. And like, you're going to just be a magnet for whoever you want. And you're going to find better friends. I'm not saying you're abandoning them. You're leaving them behind. There's a big difference. And if you're really influenced by the opinions of others, maybe entrepreneurship is not for you. And I'm not saying that in a callous way. I'm saying that you're going to be miserable if people's opinions influence you. And that's what alcohol was made for.
We don't need to go there.
Yeah.
We don't need to go there. I think some would say that's harsh. That's, you're selling out for a dollar bill or
Right.
you're selling out for maybe a company or an environment. But in my experience, anyone that's ever given me pushback or that's doubted me to this point in my life, it's not that they're not valuable. It's just they're not relevant right now.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I've still got bills to pay. I've still got businesses to build. I still have important things on my to-do list that their approval or lack of approval is not messing with at all. Like it's not helping me in any way. Right. So I see what you're saying. And I think maybe a few years ago, I would say, no, I want to fight to save every relationship I've ever had, every friendship I've ever had. I would want to fight to keep it, even if they, didn't like what I was doing. But now that I look back on it, it wouldn't have helped me. And I think I did face that people approval disorder because I didn't want to upset people. I didn't want to lose friends. I mean, God, you only have so many and you grow up and you're building businesses, like your circle gets tighter. Like I want to keep people in my circle, but what are they really doing for me, know? And so I do resonate
and the
with
other
that.
question that you have to ask yourself is, what are you actually doing for them? Because if you disengage from what you believe either God's called you to do or what you have a big dream to do, hopefully it's both.
That's a big issue. Yeah.
Right, but here's the question is that you disengaging, how does that actually help them other than make them feel more comfortable with being mediocre?
I've experienced that, but I've also experienced the latter of like, I have a ridiculous amount of text messages that I need to respond to at some point, like over 2,000. But it's because as I've done things and accomplished things, people are like, how are you doing that? I want to do that. But it is like, can you help me? And like, I would love to mentor and help. But I'm also building myself and I have very limited time to offer to anyone. And not that I wouldn't, but I do. And then they keep coming back and but they're not changing anything. And so I have also, like, I don't want to say it's like a pest because I love them and I want them to have success. And I'm very much so of the mindset, like if I'm coming up, I'm bringing you up with me, but I'm not going to pull you up.
Yeah.
I will allow you to come with me. I will give you what I know. I will tell you what I'm doing. I'll be honest. I live with the lights on, where I'm at, my debt, my everything, my tasks, all of it. It's very much so broadcasted. I talk about it all the time. But how, like, have you experienced that? Like tons of people just like leeching on. And
so early in my career, obviously, I'm driving around in my 1998 Mitsubishi Mirage that my parents bought for me.
Hold on. Why do they call it a Mirage?
Because it's not a real car.
Yes.
It's a glorified go-kart.
That's for everyone else.
Yeah,
If you know.
You stomp on it. It doesn't move. You turn off the AC. It picks up a little bit. You're like, okay.
Yes.
I think it's a go-kart. I put my car on to go to work, and
Yes.
it was a little car. It was a great car. It was very good to me. Huge blessing for my parents. I really appreciated it. And golly, I built basically my foundation for my life in that car. If you really look at it, that first 12 months of my business were pretty transformational, to say the least. But the question is, can you, if you leave them behind, whoever's following you is probably who's supposed to be with you on that journey, right? And the question, and I say this quite frequently, it's I have unlimited love, but I do have limited time. And you don't have to qualify for my time. You have to make sure that my time is going to coexist in your time, because I'm not changing course because you're needy. And I'm not saying that in a condescending way. I'm saying that in a, no one's helping me with this. I found the answers. You can too. I would love to help you find the answers, but you have to come where I am. I can't go where you are. I'm going and seeking and saving that which is lost. That way you can come with me.
Yeah.
And the fastest, so I say this pretty frequently. I say, okay, there's a handful of ways that I can have a relationship with people at this phase of my careers. The number one way for us to spend time together, the one that's going to maximize the amount of time we get together, and the way I'm going to be able to serve you the most, and the way that I'm going to be the best friend to you, is for us to be business partners. And I'm not saying that because I need more business partners. I'm saying that because now we're building something together. It's like if I was a Lego junkie, how do you spend time with me? Play Legos with me, right? So like, it's the simplest way. It's like, you want to spend time with me, go into business with me. Like, let's make money. The second way is to be my customer. I have to serve you. You're my customer. Like, I'm now financially obligated to enhance our relationship. They're like, that makes it fake. I was like, au contraire, mon frère. Like, I don't think it makes it fake at all. There's nothing more real than the reflection of value added to the marketplace, which is money. Third way is to do my hobbies. Okay. I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like I will have my 3 J's: Jesus, Jenny, Jiu-Jitsu. Like I want to do those 3 things more than anything, and in that order. And I was like, look, come do Jiu-Jitsu with me. Be a student at my academy or train with me for competitions. Like, that's a great way to get time with me. If you're not in those first 3 categories, though, like, when?
Precisely.
When? I mean,
that's great advice.
Well, I do seminars. Like, come listen to me at a seminar. Unfortunately, you're going to be competing with 150 other people that want my time too. And guess what those people are going to do? They're going to pay for it. And they're going to be a customer in a way different way. Like, no, just be a customer of one of the, I have a bunch of products I sell. I can sell you something. And now we have a reason to talk. And that's a way easier way to be in a relationship with me. Now, I want to take you out for a customer appreciation dinner. Now you're getting free food with me. That's way better. But if we're in business together, we're going to be whiteboarding stuff. We're going to be staying up late. We're going to be going on trips together. We're going to be playing together, because who do you want to play with? The people that are in your proximity.
That you're bringing up with you. Like, that's my mindset. Yep. Like, anyone, I've told this to Mario, to anyone I encounter that is like, hey, you're on this really cool path. You've got this grit about you. I love it. Like, tell me how you learned, what you're going to do. And I'm like, well, what are you passionate about? Like, what could we do together? Because if I'm rising, I can bring you up with me, but I cannot force you up. You know what I mean? You've got to have some drive and grit yourself.
But that's what I've loved about all of my business endeavors, is that, so my network marketing business, I was looking for 3 things. I wanted time, money, and impact. Now, I didn't know I was looking for those 3 things. I just found out that's what most people are looking for. And that's what the network marketing opportunity gave me, was the opportunity to make money in a way that liberated my time and make an impact and make enough money to pay all my bills. It was like, oh, well, that's a deal. I'll do that. And so I did that. And then it liberated the opportunity for me to chase all of my other dreams, because I wanted to fight professionally, but I didn't want to sponsor. I didn't want to be put, one of the most demotivating things I watched when I watched the mixed martial arts early on was all the people putting on the hat and the shirt and having to rep their sponsor. And I'm like, I want to do it on my own. Like, I want to be my sponsor. And I was able to do that. It was really cool. And I wanted to give to causes that really made a difference. And more importantly, I wanted to be able to rally people to give more than I could have. And I've been able to do that. And I've been able to do a lot of really cool things, but it's been with my business partners. I couldn't have done that with people who weren't like-minded and going in the same direction and didn't have the resource. And the other businesses I've started all were really out of that initial network that I built. And I've got my book coming out. I mean, it's basically done. And my daughter's publishing her book because she wants to be a published author at 14, way cooler than 15. So she's like hustling, and she's put my book on the back burner, which really makes me upset. Like, I pay all your bills, right? Like, but anyway, so my book's coming out. It's called Building Your Network from Scratch, because I had 20 contacts in my cell phone when I started my business 20 years ago, and 19, but basically 20. And I've got 5,500 in my cell phone right now. And it's not because I had an import of some kind. Like, that's just I've met and have relationships with. And who knows how many I actually have. That's just the phone numbers, right?
Right.
And relationships need to have a commonality in them. You can't just be friends because you went to the same school. Because that, if you think about it, that was the reason you became friends. It wasn't that you had shared interests, it's that you had shared proximity.
You were just close.
Yeah.
Right. And the way to maintain friendships is to do things together. That's why family reunions are always on a trip or something like that. It's like, it's a way to force people to do things. So one thing we're doing with our children is gazelles do good things, we do hard things, and we do them together. And so they're always together. We're always doing things together. We're always on trips. And it's not because I like close proximity with my family. I do. I love them. They're my family. But I want them to normalize teamwork with people you like, and teamwork with people that you love, and you're all doing something together, not all doing the same thing and gather because you go to Comic-Con because you all like comic books, so you go to the convention. You know what I mean? Like, no. It's like we do the things together. Like, we have our media room seats 7 because there's 7 of us. So we don't watch things by ourselves. We watch things together. We play a lot of board games. Not because I like board games. I actually abhor board games, except for Risk for some reason. I don't know why I like that game, but it's awesome. But something about world conquest just scratches that itch. But we do board games because, no, we're not just going to go and isolate ourselves. We're going to do things together because collaboration is required to do anything worth doing. And when it comes back to the people like, oh, how do I respond to all of them? You don't. The people who need the time will get the time. And the people who want attention will find it somewhere else.
Yeah. So thinking back to you being in 50 grand of credit card debt, making two, three grand a month at the time.
Working full time for that too.
Oof. You're right. That sucks.
I made that today. Oh no, more. Golly. Yeah, that's depressing. Yeah.
Yeah. So not in the best financial spot. And I'm not so naive to think that the founders and business owners and entrepreneurs that are listening to this that have either started or are in the middle of their journey aren't struggling. Like they're probably going through some hard times. And so what's something you would leave the founder or the entrepreneur with if they're going through the season where it absolutely sucks right now? What would you leave them with? With everything we've heard about your story, what would you leave them with?
To live like others won't, you need to be willing to do what others won't. And it's worth it. The first year of my business, I worked really hard on faith. Like, I think the acronym, I'm probably going to butcher this. It's FANKS anchored in the, it's not heavens, in the have. Facts anchored in the have. Like, you're going to have it. Like, so faith is not a spiritual thing. I mean, yes, it can be, obviously. But applied faith in business is the expectation that the work you're doing is going to yield results in the future. Just like a farmer plants with the expectation of harvesting. They're not planting because they get paid to plant. They're planting with the expectation of harvesting. And a good friend of mine named Luke, downline for me in my network marketing business, made about $40,000 last month through his part-time business. So he works full-time. He has another business that he works full-time, but part-time he made more than most people make annually. And there was 3 years of sowing seed though that no one saw. And it's an agricultural business, so that's why I sparked the thought. But all these farmers he's working with, their busiest times are the time they're making no money. And business is the exact same way, where you're going to work the hardest and have the most output with the least input for a short season. But then it's going to flip, and you're going to be doing almost nothing and have more money than you'll know what to do with. I remember first time we made more than $10,000 in a month, which seemed like a huge deal at the time. Now that doesn't cover like half of our expenses. Like, it's wild. Like, hindsight is so much clearer than foresight. Like, if you knew how little $10,000 were, you would have set your goals so much higher, right? Yeah, we could do a whole thing about speaking your goals. I had a season I was speaking because my bills were a certain amount. And if I made $12,500 a month, it would cover all of our bills with plenty of cush. And that's how much I wanted to make. So I make $12,500 a month through my business. Every single month on the 15th of every month, we have at least that direct deposit with no effort on my end. And I was speaking. And then about 3 months after like some good growth in my business, I started reassessing. I was making like $14,900 a month on average. And I'm like, I'm speaking a pay cut. I should have set my goals higher. And it was literally like an epiphany moment, decade plus in business. I'm like, I'm setting my goals way too low. And I think that's what Napoleon Hill was talking about in his book, Think and Grow Rich. He said, I asked life for a penny because I thought life would pay no more as I tended to my scanty store. And life will pay exactly what you ask. Mm-hmm. And if I'm going to leave you with anything, if anything, set the goal bigger than you think you can achieve. It should be big enough that it scares you, but small enough that you believe somebody can do it. And your responsibility is to become the person that can do it. And once you do that, I mean, the Ghazal family, me and my kids are going to inherit this. So MACH, Michaela, Adeline, Clark, Hank, it turns into Mock, which I'm like, that's cool. And so the LLC is Mock Legacy. And the reason it's legacy is I want all 4 of them to not make the same mistakes I did. I want them to make other mistakes, big, fat, nasty, disgusting mistakes, sure. But not the mistake I made was setting the bar too low. Like I should have dreamed a lot bigger. I played pretty big compared to the people I was around, but looking back, I was playing really small for my capacity. And now that these next 10 years, that ain't going to happen. That's why I have 5 businesses now versus just trying to grow the one, right? And it's going to be a wild decade for me in this season, but someone who's just getting their business started, doesn't matter what business it is. It's going to take longer than you think it is. It's going to be harder than you think it is. It's going to cost more money than you think it's going to cost, which means it's going to be better than you think it is. Mm-hmm. Like you're not paying full retail price for success because success should have been at a discount. It's full price for a reason. They don't run specials on Rolls Royces. They don't run specials on mansions that are custom built. Builders who build good homes don't offer discounts. Like if there's an incentive, it's because the product isn't high enough in demand. And don't make your business have discounts. And I'm not saying don't offer discounts to the right customers. That's not my point. I'm talking about on your dreams, big, full price. Success always comes at full retail price.
And pay it. Mm-hmm. Mm. That's so good, man.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your wisdom, and thanks for sharing everything that you did. Founders, I gave you Tristan Ghazal. If you enjoyed this episode of Dear Founder, click right here to watch another episode, or click right here to watch a clip from the podcast.